Hello and welcome to a dose of Satoshi's Talks. I have with me today Robin Hood from the realm of England, where we're going to be discussing everything that is corrupt, solutions to the problems that we're currently facing. It's going to be epic. So before we start, let's get straight into the intro video. Here we go.
Greg says he's Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, them transactions flying free. He's a claim in his legacy, you'll surely see.
Here we go. Robin Hood, are you there?
I am.
Excellent.
Nice
excellent.
to be back.
Great to have you back as always. Right, so do you want to tell the listeners what we're going to be talking about today?
Jurisdiction, the police force, or shall we correctly now call them, which are policy officers and enforcement by fraudulent legislation under the PACE Act 1984 and other secondary legislation, which is all void.
And you sent me quite a lengthy article here. Do you want me to start reading this out now?
You can. This will just give the audience a little bit of understanding how they've converted us into a state legal fiction, a citizen, basically a slave. And this is how we combat every police force in England, Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland.
All right. Okay, yep. So what you've sent me here says the standing claimed here is rooted in the maxim "jus naturale ex lest terrain," or Eterna. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep.
Eterna.
Eternum.
Natural right is the external law which treats God's law and right reason as superior to merely human regulations. Scholarly discussion on natural law emphasizes that human enactments which contradict fundamental justice lack true moral authority. And then see, for example, we've got is that Scandinavian law PDF?
Yep.
And also legalbytes.in, just natural classical. Authorities which, as Blackstone's commentaries on the laws of England and modern digest, such as Halsbury's Law of England, are treated in this record as recognising the common law, including natural justice and basic rights, is the foundation of the legal system, that Parliament is subject to constitutional principles, and that subordinate or administrative legislation is void if it is ultra varies to or repugnant to fundamental rights. Public law commentary following the Land Registration Act 2002 and discussion of constitutional statutes note that measures which condition the legal relationship between citizen and state have a higher constitutional status and cannot lightly be displaced by ordinary regulation. See, for example, legislation.gov.uk, UK PGA 2002-9. An example and explanatory material at gov.uk, government publications, first registrations, practice guide, 1 first registration Halsbury's Law of England describes delegated legislation as deriving its authority from parliamentary acts and states that such instruments can be struck down or treated as invalid if they go beyond the scope of the enabling act or conflict with fundamental rights and constitutional principles. In this appendix, any use of administrative or Admiralty maritime doctrine rules to convert living executors into corporate persons and private trust land into regulated water jurisdictions, assets is characterized as repugnant to those higher principles and void in consciousness. Constitutional instruments such as the Bill of Rights 1689 and the Constitutional Oath Act 1688 affirm that the Crown must govern the people or its Kingdom of England and the dominions thereunto belonging according to the statute in Parliament agreed on and the laws and customs of the same, and must maintain, quote here, the law of God, the true profession of the gospel, and the laws of the realm. The Bill of Rights has long been described as a constitutional statute declaring the rights and liberties of the subject and settling the succession of the Crown. Text and commentary can be found at Avon Law Yale.edu, 17th Century England ASP, and also lawteachers.net, Acts Bill of Rights 1689. There we go, mate. Phenomenal stuff.
Yep. And we were talking earlier with regards to the votes.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
So what do you think the likes of Ben Habib and Nigel Farage need to do? Because we know that all the courts are corrupt. All common law courts don't work because they're Admiralty.
It's got to be the Admiralty Court. What we've got to understand now is, by the illegal conversion, and it's all there, and this is actually, it's not me saying this, and I've said this many, many times on your show, the Archibald 2025 Halsbury's laws of England on administrative courts have no effect. None.
Yeah.
Absolutely no authority. They have only authority over the British citizen, which is the personam. It's the slave that is placed under compelled performance by presumption of obligation, which is servitude. And that is a breach of the Slavery Act. This is why they want you as British citizens. We're not British, we're English.
Yeah.
End of.
English men and women.
Yes, by our indigenous status, we are of the land. We're not of the water. Even though we have dominion over the air and water. And this is why we do a jurisdictional challenge. Who are you? You're not recognised. And what authority do you have? Any judge that does not have his oath and bond is repugnant to the Imperial Crown's authority and is in treasonous behaviour. It's as simple as that. And the police were from the Pace Act, 1984, and other secondary legislation. Well, what does it say there? As to Halsbury's laws at proper law and all the other law books, no authority. Legislation has no authority over the man. None. Absolutely none.
Yeah, the issue is
the superior law of all, God's law, natural law, with an E on it, naturel. No. Who do you think? Yeah. I am the living executor, the creditor. And what they've done by illegal conversion and fraudulent legislation from Parliament has literally moved the man from the land upon the water. It's disgusting now. They're stopping you voting because they know they're out.
Yeah.
Labour is nothing more. It's been put in to create war against its own people. And it's as simple as that. Everybody were told before the election. Nobody believed it. Well, here we are. They breached their own mandate. They were not going to put taxes up. They were going to do this. They were going to do that. Look where we are in a year.
Yeah,
breached everything and stopped how many elections?
2 years now.
So it's 2 years and no elections. And you've got Nigel Farage, Ben Habib, all these screaming up and down and going, you can't do this. Nigel Farage, all these, trying all these different things. But it's down to the people in these areas as well to demand their vote and remove the council. It's not the council they want. It's not the officers in authority they want. So they have to now issue straight to them removal notices. No, we're not having you. You're not depriving of us our constitutional right to vote. We don't care what Parliament says. Parliament has and does not have sovereignty. It obeys the people. But you wouldn't think so, the way that they continue to ignore the people's wishes. Parliament must be dissolved.
Well, exactly.
They breached the mandate.
If they're ignoring people's wishes, like, how do we get them to unignore it?
Straight into Admiralty Court. Bring the man before the court and burst the corporate vessel. The corporate veil. It's as simple as that. They're working as private vessels. They are not working in a public forum. Every department of government is now working from a foreign state registration or license as to the DUNS numbers.
And so I guess people don't know where these Admiralty courts are.
The High Courts of Justice. It's as simple as that. And then you set up a military tribunal. They have to do. It's treasonous behaviour. It's there in the Treason Act. It's levelling war against the imperial crown, the sovereign king. We haven't got a king anymore. We've already discussed that. He's a liege lord. He can call himself what he wants. He's not the king of England. He's only the liege lord. He advertised it himself in the London Gazette.
I mean, all this is just obviously, I mean, we're in unprecedented times.
It's massively unprecedented, mate. We've not got a king. Parliament are running an absolute amok of treachery, treason, usurpation. The police are running from administrative, delegated powers. Well, you can't run from delegated powers. That's a fiction, right? Under the Cartona Doctrine and other legal precedents, you cannot delegate power. Parliament claims it has sovereignty. I've personally wrote to Parliament and under habeas corpus, bring me the evidence that you've got true sovereignty. They haven't responded. So they're getting another one. And then I'm going to Admiralty Court. No. Fetch them all in. We're having them all. No more. They cannot have sovereignty. They're a private corporation. They do not work from the Constitution. They have now removed all courts of law. And every court is now running under administration. All this, our imperial crown symbol has been removed. They put in the corporate symbol.
What's the corporate symbol?
All the judges they're not under oath. They're not under bond. They have no jurisdiction in that court unless we actually physically sign a contract to say, yes, we are willing to be heard in that court. They need our express written consent and a contract to be in place. Because it's commercial court. And that's what it means by administrative, admiralty, maritime doctrine.
So really what we need is the backing of a political party to do this?
I mean, everybody goes, oh, we need this, we need that. No, we don't. We just need us
but we need
to say no,
us is numbers.
we're not doing it.
Yeah, but we need numbers, don't we?
Listen, it's down to the people. Me and you have discussed this, and you say it's economic power. It's not economic power. It's the will of the people to say no more. If you do not remove yourselves from our presence, you are no longer our delegated authority to act upon our behalf. You have now illegally converted us into a vessel form of nonsense, right? By fraudulent acts and legislations from a parliament that is under a franchise license and not the will of the people.
Who's the franchise license?
It's under the United Kingdom Corporation, the Great Britain Corporation, and the Commonwealth, excuse me, and United Kingdom Association. And it's all registered on Companies House and under Duns numbers because they're trying to hide it, but they can't.
And if it's registered with Duns numbers, do we know who's pulling the strings and, running things behind the scenes?
This is the $64 million question. It's all about this. Everybody needs to look up liege lord. What it means is people sworn to him, right? So Charles III is a liege lord with, I believe, certain parliamentarians sworn to him, ish or not 100% certain on that. But the police keep claiming they're working for the king, as they call him. But if you look at what it says King of the Commonwealth. Well, there you go. I've just given you the clue into it. The Commonwealth and UK Association Corporation. He's the king of basically the incorporated PSCs, person of significant control which have been illegally converted by the Companies Act 2006, Section 21 and 26, 790L to LQ and LQ to LZ. It is fundamentally ridiculous. They've actually changed, get this, it used to be the Supreme Courts Act. It's now the Senior Courts Act 1981. Provides the High Court as admiralty jurisdiction in respect to a claims in personam or in rem under Section 20 to 22, including claims relating to damage done by or to a ship, carriage or goods, mortgages or ships, and maritime matters. In statute, describe the admiralty jurisdiction of a High Court and set out in how rem acts may proceed against property as well as in personam claims against individuals. Well, when were we informed that we've now been converted into vessels or in rem status? I thought I were a living man.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what's all this nonsense? Why are we all looking now into acts and statutes that by the fraudulent act of non-disclosure, breach of constitutional norms, principles, safeguards and protections, have removed the Imperial Crown authority from all our courts, including the High Court, including the Superior Court, because what they all got, Toshi?
No authority.
Duns numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they've got no authority, and they're all no Duns numbers. All under Duns. So how does a private corporation bring a claim against a man? The judges are all members of the Bar Guild under licence. They're all licensed from the Bar Guild Association, whether it be the Lincoln's Inn, the Gray's Inn, the Oxygen Temple, under the Secret Societies Act 1910-1911.
And they have no authority
It
either.
is repugnant. It is repugnant. These High Court judges are giving out sentences, and the solicitor going, go guilty, go guilty, go guilty. They're all working for the same club.
Yeah.
They're all under the same licence.
Yep.
When do they disclose that fact to you? And now that's a breach of honesty, integrity, as to the SRA.
Yeah.
The SRA tell them in their own handbooks that they cannot work for or against the in rem. Can't do it. Because we're outside of their legal jurisdiction. Legal, not lawful, legal. This is what people have got to understand. When you go to these administrative courts, it's all done by actors, solicitors. They're not judges. They are appointed as judge of the day. What?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, you're right.
It's a solicitor. It's a fucking actor. It's got no bond for jurisdiction or authority, and it's got no oath, and it's working from legislative licence, which is a breach of the Monopolies Act 1623. Monopoly of law. You could not write this nonsense up. This were a movie, we'd all come out going, what a load of nonsense. Nobody would accept this, but we are. All your fines. Rubbish. Not valid. Not one of them. Seizure of assets. Not valid. Start taking to Admiralty Court in rem versus rem.
Can you do that in Admiralty Court?
Of course you can. That's what I've just read that section out there. It is for in rem, in personam.
Brilliant.
Jurisdiction. This is now how you get redress. If you've had your house stolen, because under the law, it states if they have sold by SPV and separated the title deeds, it is no longer a secured credit note. And if you declare fraud from the beginning by illegal conversion by the solicitor, who hokey pokeys it, sends it to the bank, because it's the living executor that signs it, not the corporate fiction, that then hokey pokeyed, sent off to the bank, who then sends it off to the commercial bank, who then creates the money from nothing. So why are we paying interest? And that money is only created from your signature and your credit rating.
Yes,
so why are you paying interest on money you've created? He who creates owns.
Yeah, you can't create money. You can create currency.
Well, let's call it what it is. I mean, we create currency. Doesn't make any difference. We've created it, whatever it may be.
Well, yeah, that's the fraud. People think that money is currency when it's not. Currency is securities.
It's company tokening. Listen, it's not. Let's boil it down to brass tacks, shall we? It's company tokens.
Yeah, securities, currency.
That's it.
Yeah.
It is, and we have sold our souls to the company token. And they did a song about it. Sent you it earlier. I'm going to put that on. I'm going to see if we can get a bit of that on our next interview, if you'll have me back.
Absolutely, mate, of course.
Literally, this is what it is, Tosh. We are literally living in a corporate vessel upon the water world.
So
it's utter nonsense.
Yeah. So we need to get this information to Nigel Farage, Ben Habib, and then they need to take action with
I don't believe that they don't know about this. The Constitution is very clear on this subject.
They have no idea. They have no idea.
The Constitution states absolutely without a thing, they can never stop a vote, ever.
Yeah, but they're not lawyers.
Constitutional. It doesn't matter. It's there. If you are in Parliament, if you do not know your everyday job and you are working from the Constitution, which every parliamentarian should be working from the constitutional principles, safeguards and protections to uphold our sovereignty, to uphold the imperial crown's authority, which all power flows from. What have they done? Usurped it by making us British citizens by compelled performance under fraudulent legislation in treasonous behaviour to extort and license criminality. And that's as simple as you can put it.
And you don't think the Supreme Court would do anything about it if they put this application in?
No, what the heck? What the heck? But it would expose the courts and the judges. This is what we're trying to do now in the realm. You've seen me go into all this and do the other ones. We did an absolutely perfect one on Thursday. I'm going to get the guy to send me all the photographs. We got 20-odd documents stamped and signed by, again, the Deputy PCC of Durham, Graham Hall, not Hull. Apologies for getting his name wrong, but it's Hall. And served it to the Chief Constable of Durham, where I put it to them that the PACE Act is legislation. And as to the natural common law maxim, a legal fiction is bound by legislation and statutory duty. That's you. Me, the living executor, man, is not. And again, the highest God's law, for want of a better word, superior law of the Holy Gospel states, just naturel est lex aeternum. I stand above all man-made legislation. Two superior maxims: natural common law, equity law, trust law stands above administrative, admiralty, maritime doctoring fraud. And every court in England is administrative. It has no imperial crown authority. The judges do not have bonds. They do not have oaths as to the oath, Promissory Oath Act, to the people and to the crown to act independently and in the law. These are working from legislative policies that by Parliament's fraudulent actions, by claiming it has sovereignty and it has now power over the law, nobody has power over the law but the people. As it states in the Constitution, anything that is repugnant to the Constitution for right or reason or cannot be conducted is repugnant and void from the beginning. And transferring the man upon the land onto the water is not only repugnant, it is treasonous. But this is what every parliament has been doing since 1933. By what were fetched in? The fiat system.
Oh, I see, yeah, 1933 Executive Order 6102, where they stole all the gold and brought in the Federal Reserve notes.
Yep. Putting us all under company slavery.
So that would have been in the US. The Bretton Woods Agreement wasn't until 1944.
Yep, but it was all done. It was all done in 1933 across all of Europe by federal banks, including the Bank of England. Because who are they all controlled by? And I sent you the document the other week. The executor of the Vatican Bank. United States was incorporated, and I've sent you the document, and we've verified it from a gentleman in Massachusetts that it's factual. There's an Englishman in Massachusetts, and he said, yes, that's correct. And it tells you there. It's the what is it? The Vatican Bank. It's like, what? The United Kingdom's incorporated, America's incorporated, all of Europe's incorporated, and we've got layer upon 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 layer of fraud.
And you said that somebody had told you about Liz Truss's biography when she was saying it's the Treasury Department that controls everything.
Yeah, well, it's how do you not sack the Treasury? But we can sack a Prime Minister.
Yeah.
For trying to make our lives better.
And the Treasury Department are running on fraud. Securities
All of it's fraud. It's securities fraud. They're dealing in... Look.
That's how they can be removed from office.
You stated this. When you said dealing in GDP is what?
Securities fraud.
Right. What is the Treasury and the Bank of England dealing in?
Securities fraud.
Correct. And they are lying to the people by stating that they are the SPVs that they're creating, personal gilts, personal bonds, through birth certificates, through mortgages, through you bloody name it. Everything is gilted or bonded. And it's bonded to slavery.
Yep, that'd be right.
Right? And this is why the police working from SPVs, license without disclosure, they have got to tell you that they are nothing more than a policy police force and you have to self-incriminate. They've got no powers of arrest. They've got no powers of biometrics. Nothing. It is all coming from the Police and Crimes and Evidence Act 1984, and it's absolute fraud. It has no imperial crown authority. It has no will of the people, and the police force are not police constables.
And can you remind everybody about that case with biometrics, the one that went to the
Well, there's
Supreme
two.
Court in Wales?
There's one in 2008 in the European courts. There are then about 10 other ones that I've shown you and given you. There's a massive one in the Supreme Court in 2020, South Wales Police Force, that lost facial recognition. They cannot, unless you are absolutely convicted by a court of law, not legal fiction, by a court of law, not legislation, they cannot hold your biometrics. So every police force now that's using biometrics is in serious trouble.
Yeah, they haven't got a
Serious
medical
trouble.
license either.
Nope. And they need all sorts of different things, and it's a breach of... This is why Parliament wants to remove Article 8 of the human rights. But it's also a breach of the Geneva Convention. It's also a breach of your constitutional rights, because they are claiming that you are guilty before you... And it's all done on presumption of guilt.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we've all seen, the evidence of 5, 6, 7 police officers surrounding a bloke that don't want to get himself on camera.
Yeah.
You've got no authority to do that. First off, you must disclose that you are under licence from Parliament. You're nothing more than a parliamentary officer working from fraudulent delegated powers. As the Cartona principle states, you have none. You cannot delegate power. End of. The chief constable is what? Is a chief executive. Because they're all under licence and they're all corporations. Everybody's shown you these facts, but we just seem to be sitting back and accepting it.
Hey, no one knows what to do about it.
It's the fact is, if we stood up, look, I've said to you before, 10%, if Tommy Robinson had 3 million on that march in there, and they're all saying, oh, we're ready to go. Well, let's see if you're ready to go. Stand the fuck up.
And do what?
And say, we're having no more than this. Every police station hit, you're under arrest. We arrest them under Section 24A of the Police and Crimes and Evidence Act for treason. Failing to disclose licence, failing to disclose incorporation, failing to disclose that you're not a police constable. You are a private security firm employed by Parliament only to conduct, by licence, theft of assets, conduct treasonous behaviour, levelling war against the Imperial Crown's authority, act of war against the sovereign people.
So we need those Sergeant General. Well, we need those Major Generals that wrote to Starmer the other day expressing their displeasure to understand the authority that they've got, because they probably don't understand the situation of the Parliament. If they knew that Parliament was treasonous, then they've got grounds to act, but they probably don't know that.
Well, again, I cannot be one of very few people that know that Parliament is nothing more than a franchise corporation. It states it in the Parliamentary Library. It's also registered within the Land Registry.
Yeah, but I think all these other people who do know that, I think they're all the bad eggs, mate. I think the good eggs have no idea.
But the problem that we've got is there's not many good eggs in place at the minute. And because Parliament will not allow it. The Speaker of the House is a disgrace.
Yeah.
Absolute disgrace. Because he should know and ought to know his everyday job. Maximum law. He's there to keep constitutional authority over Parliament. He's there to ensure that the truth is out. When you're asked a direct question, you are supposed to answer it. Look what happens in parliamentary question time. No.
Yeah, they never answer.
Yeah. And when did you do it? We're not asking what they did. We're asking what you're doing now. It's all about deflection and just having a laugh with the chums. It is sickening to watch. So I don't watch it.
Well, yeah, those who are fighting it, like I said, are the likes of Nigel Farage and Ben Habib.
Well, are they? Because they've got to prove it to me. Yeah, I don't see any political authority.
I don't think they know what to
Parliament.
do, mate. They're just trying to win an election.
Election of what?
Well,
Let's
exactly.
be honest. Right, election of what? We've got them on voter tampering, registration tampering, all in the Bill of Rights, treasonous behaviour. They've converted us from men, living executives, sovereign, creditors, to persona debtors, or quasi-trust vessels, or even worse, persons of significant control of a corporation that we don't know about, that's registered to Isle of Wight, Isle of Man, Isle of Guernsey, Jersey, in ports, courts, and registration. As to the Companies Act, do me a favour, and all our properties, assets are put in under that act so that they can be seized and taken. By law, you can't take a man's assets without conviction. You can't arrest a man without a sworn affidavit evidence before a judge. That's all been usurped. That's our constitutional right.
Yeah, so it's a very small number of people that's orchestrating all this at the top. So which would be the police chiefs. They're all in on it, and then
Of course they are. That's why it's called the Association of Chief Constables. And then you've got the Association of Deputy Chief Constables. Then you've got the Association of Inspectors. My God, it's such a corrupt corporation. It's ridiculous. You've got councils under the 2000 Licensing Act now licensing courts, buildings.
Well, yeah. So what I'm saying is, what we're up against is corruption on a scale that's never been seen before.
All through fraudulent acts, and I don't care whether you're Conservative, Labour, Liberal, or anything. It is all through every government since 1933. And this is, as to 1948, the London Agreement, a war on our sovereignty. They're terrified of it.
Well, it'll be, the thing is though, it'll be too much for a lot of normies to take in. Like, we need to find people who've got the intellectual capacity and the resources to do something about this.
It's not about resources, mate. If we all literally followed the doctors out on strike, the midwives, because I tell you what, if that Lucy Letby case doesn't ring alarm bells for every man, woman, and child, that's shocking. Because now they're looking at having to do a retrial. Now they're looking at having to release her. Locking people up for 30 words, which is a breach of maxim of law, by judges that ought to know and should know better, that are being told
corrupt,
what to do, but they're being told what to do by Parliament.
So they're corrupt. So they're not independent.
Well, they're not independent. Therefore, you've got the judges now on clear bias, clear collusion, and clear conspiracy to put and level in war against the sovereign people by illegal conversion.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, like, you've got Parliament that's corrupt, you've got the judiciary that's corrupt, you've got the police that's corrupt, Again,
but this is why they've stated, we've now got it all covered.
Well, exactly. So that's why a lot of people are just like, oh shit, what do we do?
We have to starve the beast. No, we go on strike. Look what we did in 70s, 80s, 90s. Strike, strike, strike. Everybody out. Work to rule. Done. Yes, we know. Stop paying your mortgages. Stop paying the electric bill. Stop paying your council tax. Stop, stop, stop. We're doing nothing. You're sending our money to terrorism and aid terrorism. No, we're not paying for it. We're not allowing you to conduct business around the world for a foreign power. Because where are they trying to cozy back into? Europe. Why? Because it's Europe that runs under the principle of cooperation. That's what they did in 1972, and lied in 73, then again lied in 74, before the referendum in 75. What did they tell us? What did Edward Heath say? Your sovereignty would not be touched.
Yeah.
So what happened in 2018 then, when they retrieved our sovereignty from Europe? I never surrendered mine.
Yep, well, they've got no right to give it away anyway.
Everything is built on quicksand. Everything is a lie, a smoke and mirrors campaign, and it's now being enforced by the act of terrorism under political agenda.
Yeah.
Under the Slavery Act, in breach of ECHR 4, 6, 8, and 10, just for starters. Then you've got 14. Then we've got 16, if you read them up. It is disgraceful. Parliament should be struck off now. Not tomorrow, now.
But who's going to do it?
It's all right saying who. Let's say him down the road, her down the road. How about everybody stands up and goes, do you know what? I am sick of working 73 hours a day, not being able to put food on my table. I'm worrying about paying 78% tax on electricity bills, 81% tax on gas bills, inflation on interest that cannot be charged as to the rule of law, on money that I create, or currency that I created, that you securitized, that you've then guilted, bonded, and done whatever you've done with it, sold it, made money off it, and still making money off it. Then you've used it as fractionalized reserve banking. Do me a favour.
Well, this is what I'm saying.
And we're all following for this, but we're all falling for it. So until we, and it has to be a we, just go, no more. We're not going to court. Send your bully boys round. We'll have bully boys at our home now. We're not doing this anymore. We're not playing this game. And we are now working to rule and we're not paying taxes. And every company and all these small companies now go, we're not paying you. We're not paying you. We're a private guilt company. No, off you go. People do not pay tax. And this is the con that they don't tell you. That once you become an employee of a company, you are automatically then classed as a PSC, person of significant control, because you're working in one way or another for the state, because you're paying taxes. It's done through tax codes. Mate, when I tell you, it is layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of fraud, deception and deceit is an understatement. Is an absolute understatement. They've taken since 1707 the Act of Union, which is void.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is what I keep saying. You know, if you're going to fight them and stop paying your bills and all this kind of stuff, but you still need, currency coming in. This lot print currency from nothing. They give it away to their...
Yeah.
So that this
but
lot...
once they don't get... Yeah, but they can print as much as they want. But when we start going into the supermarket and go, there you go, there's your credit note, we're off. Start paying everything with promissory notes. What they're going to do then?
Well, yeah, that's when you get complete society breakdown.
Correct. But they're starting this game.
But that's what they want.
They either... No, they don't. They have to hold control. But what we want is to get our own constitutional rights and principles back. What does Article 1 say of the Magna Charta? In perpetuity, forever. It is trust law. It is not for... It is above Parliament. It cannot touch it. It can't repeal anything. It cannot do anything to the Magna Charta. Nothing. But by them going into the books in 1888, and messing about and changing words, paragraphs and meanings. Hang on a minute. What does the constitutional document say? Any alter or subversion of the constitutional documents is treason, and high treason are punishable by one act. That's death penalty. It is the most serious crime. So in 1888, what did they do? Altered and converted, subverted it. Then they did it in 1948. So that they could bring in the Births and Deaths Act, 1953, to put changes all into British citizens and then put us all under obligation to the state by registration. Like I've said, it is layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of fraud, treachery, treason, treasonous behaviour. It is a disgrace to the law and to our standing. But it's very simple and very clever.
Yeah, I'd
But
say
we just all get to understand it.
Yeah, but also we need an army that can be financed.
No, you don't need an army to finance. All you need to do is get the 3 million people, 3 million men to come together, start arresting every councillor, every MP, everything, and put them before a court of de jure. Simple as that. In the lex terrain jurisdiction. We're not having any more of your nonsense where you can hide behind the corporate veil because you're a solicitor under license to a foreign state, or you're an MP that was elected by the people. Well, as to Archibald 2025, the state only issue documentation in personam. What does that mean?
Yeah, as in
your legal fiction.
Yeah.
Your corporation. It is not to the person. Then we bring in the four-corner rule under legalese. Anything in a box is wiped off. So we'll do what we want with your thing. Then we come into the British Citizen Act. You're a slave. You're under compelled performance by presumption of obligation to the state, the corporation. Therefore, they have usurped your constitutional safeguards principles and protections through the inalienable rights and documents. They can't change them, they can't alter them, they can't even revert one word of it. They do, it's high treason, it's death penalty. There's no other way for it. And these are what the courts are protecting.
All right, but
by allowing the Parliament to do what it wants. That's why the police are there. That's why 12,500 police last month left. Because they know this is coming out. And it's not coming out in ones, it's coming out in multiple assets and multiple facets all over the place. A gentleman called Panny contacted me the other day. He's tried to take over courts 3 times lawfully. He's requested a court. They blocked him. 20-odd officers stood outside the court, videoed everything. And he booked the court. And 20 police officers stood and blocked access to law. Now, what does that tell you about Parliament?
Corrupt? Scared?
It's acting above the law. Nobody can act above the law. Lord Denning. Secretary General, I don't care how high you fly. The law will always stand above you.
Yeah, Parliament. So what I'm saying, it's a numbers game, but what I'm saying is that what you said is quite simple.
3 million men took to the streets from top to bottom, and we all verged on everywhere. We all just went, no more, bang. Had enough of this. I'm not paying taxes at 78%. I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, I'm not doing the other. No more. No. Not going to work, not doing this, we're not paying the mortgage, we're not paying this. We've created it, we're now owning it. We're now setting up court de jures and we're getting rid of everything. Where do you think Parliament's going to stand then?
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. But
this is what they did in the revolution. That's why it was called the bloodless revolution.
Yeah. People
just went, no, knock it off and resign and get out, or we hang the whole lot of you.
Well, see, I mean, this is what I'm working towards. I think, even though you're saying it's simple, I think the logistics of what you've said are a lot harder than what you're...
No, they're not, mate. They're not. How on earth is it so difficult to get 3 million people to come together, or 5 million people to come together and go, no, you're nicked. We've had enough of you. You're now before the court de jure, an admiralty court, and the judge that is under the correct promissory oath, the correct jurisdiction, whether that be admiralty military, wherever it be, for usurpation and alter of the constitutional documents, inalienable rights, which you have no right to touch, and it states in it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we have trouble at the moment agreeing on whether or not men should be allowed in women's changing rooms and toilets.
But that's all wokeism, mate. But if that doesn't get your blood boiling...
Of course it does.
Now, I listen, I've got gay friends, right? I've got gays in my family. So what? I don't care. We owe our entire existence to one of the cleverest, bravest men ever. And he was gay. And they killed him.
Well, Alan Turing.
What? Yep. The man that brought the Enigma machine.
Yeah.
Right? What a disgrace we've been. But it's now time to set ourselves right. We're cleverer. We're more educated. We now have to let people love the way that they want to love. That's God's will, not ours. We've got to stop this bias. And the bias comes from them telling us that's wrong. Love's never wrong. What I disagree with is people being deliberately confused, deliberately lied to, deliberately misused for a political agenda.
Well,
That's
exactly.
an act of terrorism.
People are confused. They don't know what to do.
But the fact is now we have to come back to reality. We've gone so far off the bloody edge of the deep end. It's ridiculous.
Well, this is what I'm saying. What I'm trying to explain.
Yeah, but I think
people will unite
people
due
now
to
are realising
economic
this.
incentive. That's what it requires.
But I think the economic incentive, mate, if you're not paying 81, if you're actually paying, if we look at your electric bill at £2,000 a year, right? £2,000 a year.
That's cheap.
Take 81% of that off. What does that come to? What does that leave you at £2,000 a year?
About 200 quid a year.
Right, so if you're paying now £200 a year electricity bill, and now take £87 off a £2,000 electricity bill, right? So we're now paying £220 a year for electricity. So now all of a sudden we've saved £3,600 just on two bills.
Yeah, but that's nothing.
If we wipe off, I'm not bothered. But if you wipe off your 1,500 quid, 2 grand, whatever it is, council tax nonsense, fraud. Now all of a sudden we're 5 grand a year better off. What? I've only gone three everyday items, and all of a sudden I've put 5 grand in everybody's pocket. Everybody's pocket. Now, if that isn't incentive to be able to go to shops and be able to buy food, let's have a look at your next staple, shall we? Your food shop. Tell me how in 2022 and 2023 a bottle of a particular red sauce, a very well-known brand, was 99 pence. The same bottle today is £3.50. Cheapest I've seen. Right? Now, they're telling us that it's only gone up 4% and 5% on bill. Hang on a bleeding minute. In 2 years, the same bottle of sauce has gone up 250%. Never mind everything else. £1 for a cabbage. Are they taking the proverbial? And it's the size of my fist.
Yeah.
Get lost. No more. No more. No more of this absolute nonsense. They're trying to starve us. They're trying to conduct us. And if you don't do as you're told, we're coming for everything. Well, actually, no. It is now our time to say no more. We're coming for you now. We're coming for the state. We're coming for the state corporations, and we're coming for the individuals through law to come after you. And we're taking back our assets. We're taking back everything that you've stolen from us. Justice denied is justice delayed, and you cannot sell justice. Article 40. And what are they doing? It's a prepaid court. The judge is bought and paid for. And you've lost on a presumption before you even get there. Because you are not presumed innocent. You are presumed guilty. Your rights have gone out the window. What does Article 39 say? Still in force, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. No free man shall be excised from his land, his property. He shall not be imprisoned, nor shall we send anybody for him, bar through the due process of law of the land. Now, that's not me saying it. That is our rights in law. The Bill of Rights says the same thing. Lex terrain jurisdiction. But because they've changed the wordings, meanings, you're now rubbished and tarred with, oh, you're these freemen of the land. Well, let's see what they're like when they say, are you trying to be racist? Are you trying to call me an Aborigine? Because that's what a freeman of the land is in Australia, love, not here. I'm under the Magna Charta, the Bill of Rights, the Coronation Oath, the Supremacy Act, Coronation Oaths Act, Settlement Act, Successions Act. I'm under all of it. They're my rights, and I'm also under God's law, the Holy Gospel, the Trinity of laws, natural common law, natural maxims. What are you under? Why have you not disclosed that you're a licensed bar guild foreign state judge from a license in breach of the Monopolies Act? Why have you not stated that you've been bought and paid for biased
because they're all in on it
of a tribunal? But this is how you get them. Where's the Crown Officer within the court? They've been removed by Tony Blair, the treasonous get, in 1997 to the Companies Act, 1985. They're now running from the Companies Act, 2006, as a corporation. Oh, and let's not forget the bullseye here. The CPS is insolvent. It's gone. So who's bringing the charges? Criminal prosecution barristers of the Lincoln's Inn, Bar Guild licensed. What? So we've now got all these biased judges, solicitors, barristers running from the same club, association, under legislation by authority and delegated power to rip us off and charge us what they want. And they're all getting kickbacks from the QSIP and Chris numbers conversion. As we've already discussed, and as we discussed earlier, they made how many billions?
Yeah, 7 billion over 15 years.
Over 15 years by locking a man up.
Yeah.
Through illegal conversion and SPVs. So you want to know how they're making money? That's how they're making money on our misery and our slavery.
Yes, indeed. Well, there's lots of people thinking of lots of different ways, and this is certainly one of them.
It is. Look, I don't knock anybody else for going whatever way that feels right to them. This is about how we try and get it to come to bear. And the fact is now we have to go to Admiralty Court, because if the Admiralty Court fails, the High Court fails, the Supreme Court fails to uphold your constitutional law, constitutional right by right language, then there is no law in England. It is all legislation by fraudulent means. And if you all want to live like that, that's up to you, but I'm not. And there's millions of us now that don't want to live like that and don't want to live like this, but we want the law. Because nobody's above the law. I'm not advocating rioting. I'm not advocating anything. What I'm advocating is a very simple no. No more. You've finished. We are ordering you by willeth and commandeth of the living executive sovereign king. We have removed your sovereignty. We have removed our mandate from this parliament. That's it. And we send them in en masse. And we go to our employers and say, stop deducting me taxes. Send them to this trust. Have a separate account up. Call it a trust account. Put it in there. Get together with your mates. No, we're not having this anymore. Tell your mortgage company, no, not paying you until you prove this. I want the deed of assignments. I want the valuations. I want this, this, and this. And I want to know if you've sold my deeds and my property as an SPV. If you have, I want that off the land registry. The land registry is a joke. It's only supposed to be a recorded office, but it's under license. So it now puts you in The persona, and I've just done the documents to inform them, get it off or you'll be in Admiralty. And you put it in as a recorded. And nobody now can put a claim into your property because it's in a private trust and a living trust.
Let's just hope it works, mate. All right, we've been going for over an hour. Probably a good time to wrap it up, and we can do another one.
Yep. Perfect. But we just now need to get everybody on the same page. The police force have not. What did you say to me about the big blue and yellow checks on the police force? What does that now stand for?
Yes, stop. I want to communicate with you. So they've changed them from black and white checks to blue and yellow checks to now just simply blue and yellow squares.
Yep.
Large squares, that's it.
And that is Admiralty jurisdiction for stop. We are up on the water. We need to speak to you.
Yeah.
Then they've reclassified them as emergency officers. What a load of codswallop. They've no common law jurisdiction, no authority, and have no arrest powers. None. They've got no prosecutional powers. None.
It's going to be a numbers game telling him that, though.
Yeah, well, I've just said, give me 3 million men. Give me 3 million. I'll arrange it now. As you know, I've just tried to send you the document 5 times. It's a bit big, is the video. So we're going to work on another way next couple of days, which will come out after Christmas now.
Yep.
And we've served Bidden Police Chief Constable, the PSC, we've served them. We're going to demand arrest warrants for all officers concerning the theft of assets from people. No, the living executor. No, we're not having these fancy words and terminologies anymore. We're not living under deception of words. We are the living sovereign people. We are not converted into ABC. We have always been this. We are not this, and we are not that. Off you go. Parliament is dissolved. It has to be now. The Labour Party has got absolutely nowhere to run now. None. None of them have. The Conservatives, they've all been guilty of it. The Liberals, all been guilty of it. Usurping constitutional safeguards, principles and protections. This voting for 2 years? Oh, we'll have it in 12 months. This is 2 years ago now. We're just going to do some boundary shifting. Well, why couldn't they do the boundary shifting afterwards?
Well, exactly.
Because they knew they were going to get wiped out.
Wiped out by reform, mainly.
Well, whoever. But they wanted to throw the dirt and have an opportunity and to stop the momentum of the people's will. And again, they've done it. Over 3 million votes to dissolve Parliament and a 10-minute conversation. Oh no, you haven't got the power to do that. Who do you think you serfs are? You're slaves to the state.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who we are. We're the living executives. As to the Reforms Act 1986 and 2005. We now, by willeth and commandment of our own sovereignty and authority, remove you, Parliament, every officer. Every one of you has gone. Start with your own MP. You don't need to be a member party of it. And I think I can't remember if it's 4 or 8% of the people that voted that write into their MPs and say, no, we've had enough of you, gone. They have to have a new election.
Well, maybe this might wake people up, but I mean, I know people out there who still think that the COVID-19 jabs are safe and effective.
But again,
people are still queuing up for their boosters, mate.
Yeah, we know that. And look, I mean, the stats have just come out now. And if this doesn't tell you lunatics to wake up, 90% of doctors have refused the COVID jabs and the vaccine and the flu vaccine. 78% of nurses have refused.
Yeah, but people are still going for it. I know people have got them.
Right, but the problem that we've got is they have created sheep.
Yeah.
We all know them. I'm off to slaughterhouse. Well, you crack on. We'll exit stage left. All right. As the case may be. But I ain't going. You crack on. But when you've got your turbo cancers and when you've got this, that and the other and you can't breathe and your massive strokes that we've just been having, the death rate is going off the deep end at the minute.
Yeah.
Off the deep end. And the Mark Sexton's just released that thing on the, what is it? That the police have been ordered by Parliament. They cannot investigate jab deaths.
Operation Tala.
That's the one. Right? He's like, what? Are the police supposed to be independent from Parliament? Well, now you've got it clear evidenced that they're not. The police are corrupt and are in connivance and conspiracy with Parliament to murder you all.
Yeah, there we go. And on that note, need to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Stay alive,
and stay well.
That's it.
And if you get a flu, your body has had 1 million years of DNA to beat it. Right? Stop relying on silly drugs. Your body will beat it.
Absolutely. And on that note, we'll wrap up the show. We will be back in the new year, maybe beforehand, maybe even between Christmas and New Year, which would be quite exciting. So until then, I wish everybody, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And until then, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
The king still has one more move.